Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Concern Podcast, where we unpack political, socio-economic, and cultural stories shaping our world. I am Emmanuel Taban. Now, the biggest question today is, why has President Salva Kiir Mayardit quickly adapted the degree style of leadership as his favorite? Or why is President Kiir firing, hiring, and rehiring? Why is he recycling members of his cabinet and the military? That's a question we will be addressing today. Now, if this is your first time watching a video on this channel, please subscribe, hit on the notification button, like, comment, and if the videos interest you, share with your colleagues, your circle. It's a way of making this channel grow, and for those who have been supporting us, thanks for doing so. Continue supporting us. We are so much grateful. Now, since President Salva Kiir Mayardit returned from his visit from the United Arab Emirates, he came and immediately on his first 2 weekdays, on Monday, he issued a section of decrees that actually swept out and in members of the cabinet and military. He sacked and hired or rehired so many people in his cabinet and the military. And he didn't only end that day of the week. The following day, on Tuesday, he made the same changes, fired and brought in new people. And this made so many people ask a question: why is President Kiir doing this so often? Why is it happening that at least, if not in a week time, in a bi-weekly time, he's doing it? Why? Could it be that President Kiir is using these degrees as an appeasement policy, or maybe to try to appease members of some communities by appointing some of their fellows? Is it Kiir doing it for that reason, as an appeasement policy, so that maybe these communities don't turn against him because they see that there is one member of their community appointed to Kiir's government? Is it that way? Or is it because Kiir, being a seasoned military general, he understood the dynamics of power? Perhaps he understands that power does not only sit at the presidential chair, it sits in the barracks, it sits with the army general, it sits with the disgruntled population. Could it mean that Kiir has understood this and he knows very well that if he leaves the cabinet or the military to relax a little bit, and because the population of South Sudan has seen or feel dissatisfied with the current happenings in the country, with the economy, the army is, not being paid or underpaid and not appreciated. Could it be that Kiir understands that if he does not do frequent reshuffle, there will develop a network of individuals in his government who will actually make a plot against his government and overthrow? Could it that mean Kiir is doing it for this reason, so that he makes frequent reshuffle to disorganize and disrupt any potential plot against his government? Could that be the reason? Or could it mean that Kiir just doesn't know what he is doing? Maybe he just doesn't know what he is doing exactly. He's just doing try and error method. Why is President Kiir firing, hiring, and rehiring? Why is it doing this exactly? I think out of all these reasons that I've given, the most important reason that I feel why President Kiir is doing this so frequently, why he has adopted the strategy of firing and hiring members of his cabinet and the military, is because he might have read or been told the history that in a country like South Sudan, where we have a military in the names of the South Sudan People's Defense Forces that can go months without being paid or even underpaid, unappreciated, combined with a population which is dissatisfied with everything, almost the economy, how things are being done, Kiir understands very well that if these people are given a chance, if they are given an avenue, they can easily be mobilized by any wrong person in the cabinet, within the cabinet or the military, and can easily be led to plot a coup against him, and he can never survive. Kiir knows this very well. And I feel this is the major reason why he is doing this. Because he wants to protect his presidency. He wants to make it last. And I can tell you without any doubt that the moment President Salva Kiir Mayardit stopped firing, the moment he started not actually putting more emphasis on playing the chess game and trying to play around with his cabinet and military, the moment he stopped doing that, his government will be at risk. Alliance will be built within the military. It would have given these generals who feels that Kiir is incapable to develop the momentum, to rally behind military officers, to rally behind them the soldiers, and to promise them that they can actually topple Kiir's government. The moment Kiir stopped doing that, the moment he stopped issuing these decrees, you can take it to the bank. Kiir's government will not survive. There are so many people in his army today. There are very many generals today. There are so many members of his cabinet today who are uncomfortable with the way how things are done. And it will only take them a year to be in those positions that they hold, to mobilize the army behind them, to convince the army generals to rally behind them. And within a blink of an eye, they can actually topple Kiir's government. So whatsoever you see Kiir doing today, the decrees that he's issuing, whether being done late at night or done even every day, all these decrees are well calculated moves. Kiir is not a stupid person. He's not a stupid leader. You might think that he does not understand what he is doing. You might think that he is bringing confusion. You might think that he is weakening institutions. Yes, Kiir is doing it, but also he is serving his government. He is serving his presidency. The moment he stopped doing that, we are likely to see a situation compared to the same that happens in Sudan, where the country will be under absolute military rule. And we will for sure go the Sudan way. I'm not saying that we are better than Sudan. But at the moment, the situation that South Sudan is in is better than the situation that Sudan is undergoing today. So before you think that President Kiir is perhaps a very stupid person, before you start thinking that President Kiir doesn't know what he's doing, I kindly ask you to think deep, analyze his moves, analyze his intentions before you come out with a conclusion. So what President Kiir is doing right now is very much important to himself. It's very much important for his presidency. In fact, one would say what Kiir is doing right now, it is very much important to his government, just like an oxygen to a human being. When human beings stop breathing in oxygen, that will be the end of their lives. Similarly, when President Kiir stopped doing these decrees, when he stopped issuing these decrees for months or even for a year, you will realize that his government will be in a state similar to an ICU. So the reason why Kiir is doing all this, it is for the betterment of his government. It is to increase the long span of his government. It is for his betterment. Of course, there is no dog who is willing to let a bone fall down from their mouth. And that is exactly what Kiir is doing. Thank you so much. This is the Concern Podcast, and I am Emmanuel Taban.